Today on CityCast Denver. For years, my friend Lori Lynx Murphy has been telling me about this old surplus store at Alameda in Pecos. She's a respected local artist who grew up in Denver. She's run her own galleries, been an integral part of the do-it-yourself arts community here, and created work for Meow Wolf's Convergence Station. Lori said this janky old surplus store is the #1 spot to buy cool old materials she uses to create art. Then last month, I drove past and saw the shop was closing. So I called up Lori and invited her out for one last treasure hunt at Surplus Tools and Commodities and to chat with the owner, Roger Cox. Today is Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. I'm Bree Davies, and this is CityCast Denver.
Okay, I start at the back
Okay,
because
take us where you would go.
Oh, wait, you got to go that way
Okay,
because we're crossing wires.
okay. So, Lori, you've been shopping here for a long time here at Tools, Surplus Tools.
Surplus Alameda. I don't know. It goes by
The
many
Alameda
names.
Surplus Store.
The place
It is clearly not just a hardware store.
with as much stuff as is in here, it is picked over.
It
I
looks-
can tell you, which is
I can
crazy.
tell it already looks picked over
Which
because
I should have come last week because there's something I've been wanting to get.
usually it's kind of like a hoard, an organized hoard. In terms of like it's a lot.
Organized is a stretch, but yeah. This place is just kind of magic to me so many times, and
So the magic is kind of in the hunt.
the magic is in the hunt.
Oh my God, this is even bigger than I realized.
Oh no, see the practical stuff is up front. So like the tools, the things you might want to use. But you come back here,
There's a
and
space
it's like,
suit.
here's
a man in a space suit.
here's a glass block that says cheers.
Okay.
There's some boots sticking up there, and if you look above,
There's a
like
robot. The sign, final closeout, all capacitors 50% off.
that's a good deal if you need a capacitor.
If you need a
I don't
capacitor,
need one,
there's
but
20 different kinds and hundreds of them. Yeah, we've got tubing of every different kind and
it's not that you can't get that tubing somewhere else, but you can't get the tubing aged in that color.
yes, I was thinking that too. I was like, that was once clear. It is
I know,
not
and
clear
but
anymore.
it's beautiful.
3 tubs of cat figurines. Oh, no,
Oh, I
I'm
love
sorry.
that.
I missed the other.
Oh no, there's a whole row of cat figures.
The row of cat
see, that's me. That
figurines.
wasn't here last time. The grommets. The grommets. But this section is
You
my.
could get. You want to pay
thing.
$20 for a tub of thousands of grommets?
I probably am
It's-
going to before the end of the day.
This is your
I
spot.
definitely see that happening.
After Lori and I poked around in the back for a bit, we headed up to the cash register to talk to longtime owner Roger Cox. Oh, here we go. Okay.
All right.
Are you Roger?
Yeah.
I'm Bree.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
And I'm
I
Lori,
know you.
long-time customer.
He inherited the shop from his father, Ivan Cox, who took over from his father, William Cox, who opened the place in 1947. So, Roger, you've been in this business your whole life?
Yes, I have been doing this for. I realized my father used to brag about having done it for 45 years. I've realized I've done it for 46 now. I realized that toward the end last year. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've actually. So after even before I was just 9 years old, I started working down here
Wow.
on weekends and stuff. And I went to college. I got a fancy degree from the University of Denver and everything, but I just decided to do this. It was a good sustainer for having a family, and
What'd you get your degree in?
I have a business degree. Yeah.
So, if someone says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" What do you tell people about this store? Someone was asking to describe
mostly tools. I just tell them, I just say I own a tool store. I mean, it's just kind of hard to explain surplus.
it. Yeah.
Because I think surplus people do think of the Army Navy store type thing. I think more
Sure.
so. I think that's usually where it comes up. But just kind of a unique place.
Yeah.
And that, unfortunately, that just as a little bit of an aside, but that's the problem with Denver right now is these places like us are going away.
Tell me about the beginning of this business. It's been open since 1947.
So originally, my grandfather and a partner, Frank Hale, started this back in this after World War II, And the idea was government surplus. You could buy government surplus. And originally they sold out of the back of their car, literally go to a job site, sell tools. And then eventually down the street here, they made a little store. And then in the mid-'50s, they moved over to this here, and we've been here ever since. And we've been struggling with lots of things, but namely that we just can't keep up with the property tax. So we bought this stuff back in the day when it was good to have property, and now it's apparently a burden. And,
So you do own the property. It's
yes,
just...
we own the property.
Okay.
And we sold off some property a few years ago, and the property rates, the amount we have to pay is so exorbitant. We're already back up to the same level we were at just in 4 years. And it's really the death toll for the business. And I literally sat back and I said, this is not going to go forward. Asked my kids if there's something else they wanted to do with the property. They really don't have any idea. Retail is not a great thing to be in anymore.
Yeah.
And so we just decided we'll close down, and this is our 75th anniversary, so we thought that was a good year to try to do that.
So do you think you're going to sell the building after?
Yes, yeah. In fact, it's already up for sale. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you don't have a definite date, right, for closing. You're kind of just working through.
Right. Trying to get as much stuff out of here as we can. Like I said, it's on the market, but they under the assumption that we wouldn't be out of here until October,
Sure.
We've been working toward this since last May, and so we were ready in January to actually declare going out of business, put discounts on stuff, and we've been doing that for a little more than 2 weeks now, and it's amazing the amount of stuff we've sold. But this, you look around, there's still plenty
There's
of
so
things.
much, yeah.
I think it just becomes a question of whether it's stuff that people still want or if it's just stuff that's got to go to the scrapper.
Prior to the situation, maybe sort of in the salad days of running this business, what is it about running a surplus store that you really enjoy?
Well, it's just a business. I mean, I guess, you meet a lot of unique people.
Yeah.
I mean, because you do. I mean, all walks of life come through a place like this.
Yeah.
Whether it's artists or whether it's people who are just heavy professionals. Some guys come in with business suits looking for something,
The garage tinkerer guy.
The tinker guy, yeah. So I suppose that's probably the best part of it.
And what are you going to do now?
I don't really have any plans. I know I'm not going to do any retail.
Yeah.
I'm probably too young to really legitimately retire, but that's probably what, if I can sell the business,
Sure.
That's probably what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and
let it close
and move on, yeah.
Close the chapter.
Yeah.
Roger, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. This was great. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys coming in and looking at it. It's just tough. And I do have a lot of customers coming in that just are distraught over it.
Yeah, I
they
bet.
are. They're just telling me, why are you doing this? And you have to explain to them.
Times have changed.
That things change, and it's
Yeah.
just you can't. We've ridden it
As far as
longer
it'll go.
than we probably should have.
75 years is a long time to do
and
anything.
I think, I could have made a definite case that 10 years ago is when I should have pulled the plug.
Well,
But my kids were younger, and
Yeah.
I wanted to give them the opportunity my dad did.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
oh, hey. Oh, yeah. See, pill bottles.
Pill bottles.
Or little purple
Oh my gosh.
bottles that...
Honestly, I just...
Those are just things you need.
just bought some of these on Amazon to
See?
make
See?
essential oil spray when I could have come here and gotten them for 10 cents.
Oh, look at this. The Bump Mobile. What the hell is that? That
A battery
is just-
operated tiny car,
Cool. That's-
and you can get, they're $2 a piece, or you could probably buy the whole box from him. Probably make him a deal.
It's so spectacular. It's just like, and I think a lot of people walk in here and they just don't really see the forest for the trees because they're like, it's so messy and dirty and it kind of smells bad. And what am I doing? And, you know, like you have to be a certain kind of person to want to just spend hours in here.
I was like, you walk in and I see like there's so much stuff to dig in and find and like, but
you got to love the hunt.
Yeah, it's definitely
know?
about the hunt.
The thing that's important about places like this, and what's sad about them disappearing though, is that not just for artists, they represent an entire like DIY culture that's disappearing.
Totally.
And the idea that you can fix your own things. See, and there used to be tons of these places, and my worry is what happens to this stuff.
That's a great point too, though, Lori, is I think as the cities grow and change, we don't necessarily have these kinds of places.
It's stuff that is still useful.
Sure.
That will go to the dump.
It's like the ultimate recycling, sort of the ultimate green kind of business, right? Before that was like a term.
But how do you recycle things that people aren't necessarily looking for en masse? You know?
Totally. And this is like, that's the thing, is there's a lot of, and like you said, it's been picked over, and I can only imagine what this place looked like before the sort of going out of business sale, but there's still shelves and shelves of small transformers and inverters. And
what's going to happen to people who like might say on the inventor side as opposed to the artist side come in here and be like, I'm curious about this, what does it do? And they teach themselves, or, you know, like this whole DIY inventing thing, stuff is expensive, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they've been open 75 years. So that means generations of artists have come here.
Yeah.
And gone, that thing, that red cap, that's exactly what I need. Or just been attracted to it for aesthetic reasons and gone, what can I do with it?
And I can buy 500 of these red caps.
And they'll be cheap. They'll be so cheap. They'll be cheaper now, but
10 cents each.
I know. I can't believe how fast it's clearing out because it's like, I just thought I had forever.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever purchased here, Lori? Someone, I can't remember who said it. Someone on Twitter maybe said they bought submarine parts here.
Yeah, it's really hard because the weirdest things I've bought are not things I have a name for.
Like that one doodad that I ended up needing 500 of.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I didn't know until I came here and I saw a whole bucket of that doodad.
I mean, I could tell you there's a lot of weird things I've passed up that I've wanted to buy just because they were cool.
It's the things you didn't buy.
It's the things that didn't buy that haunt me. Yeah. Okay, here we go. See this? Oh, I'm getting that. That I'm getting. I'll leave the grommets. I'll get that.
$10. You're going to buy a $10 tub of thousands of tiny little tubes of
There's
screens.
Screens for some machine that doesn't exist anymore. Nobody knows what they are. But just things are beautiful when they're massed together. I really am buying this tub. I'm so excited. I can barely contain myself.
And here's what else is happening in Denver today. The indoor mask mandate officially ends this Thursday. Mayor Hancock announced Monday that he will let the current mask requirement expire due to falling rates of COVID-19 across the city.
Let me be clear. This is still a public health emergency and will remain so as long as spikes, surges, and variants threaten to overwhelm our hospitals and our healthcare systems.
The mask mandate will still be in place for Denver public schools and child care centers, however, as younger children are still not eligible to get the vaccine. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. But if you want to see some of the stuff Lori and I found at Surplus Tools, I put a bunch of pictures in our newsletter this morning. You can see those, subscribe, and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye-bye. I'm Bree Davies, and this is CityCast Denver.